An awesome day. What I'm jazzed about is the fact that we're going to do some ritual today. And being a product of the Catholic Church, ritual is my name. And I love ritual. And so today we're going to have some fun. 3 parts. We'll do it quickly. They said talk fast. The first part will be Angela's going to give his little talk, and then we're going to have Maggie come up and do her thing, and she'll just explain things. On your seat, you'll see a white slip and a green slip. Do you see it there? And it's pretty self-explanatory. The white slip says, I release the following, I let go with a grateful heart. And the green slip then will say, the manifestations of Spirit in 2014, I'm open and receptive to the following with a grateful heart. How many of you would like to have a pencil? I have pencils up here, but
I got it.
Linda's got pencils, so raise your hand right now if you need a pencil. If you don't need one, don't worry about it. If you decide not to participate, that's cool too.
We'll get them back.
Andrew, microphone, and
Is your microphone
mic on.
It's on. Oh,
It's not on.
the first time for a while. I've got it on.
Okay,
It's not coming through.
not working.
No.
Well, what that means is that I'll have to talk louder.
Story, Jim.
Testing 1, 2.
Try the switch again.
That works now.
There you go.
All right, thank you. I'm a switch hitter. Okay, we're ready to go. Hang on to those 2 slips of paper. The number 1, the white slip, we're going to be going outside doing the ritual outside. The white slip, we're going to be personally putting it into the fire. And the green slip will go into a can that Maggie's going to have. Eventually the green slip will be part of the ritual, but it's going to end up here. And there's some history on this. I could spend a whole day talking about it. We're going to, we want you to put your name on the green slip, and we're going to put it in this box during the ritual. And we're going to keep this on the platform and pray over it during the year. Is that okay? And then later on, maybe Easter time, we'll open it up and hand it back to you, because we want you to, if you want to, put your name on the slip. Is that cool? Yeah. So today we call it the Burning Bowl Project. However, I decided to also call it the Burning Bush. And the reason I want to use the burning bush as well is that I want to use as a metaphor the story of Moses to kick us off here. And as you know, Jesus wanted to get Moses' attention. He's herding sheep. He's tending the sheep of his father-in-law, Jethro. And Yahweh, which is God, wanted to get his attention so the burning bush to happen. And so Moses goes over to the burning bush to find out what's going on. Okay? And so that's what that's all about. Some of us believe that literally, that it really did happen, and that's cool. And some of us think that it's an allegory with an esoteric hidden meaning. Angela, I come from both of it, but basically the esoteric meaning means a lot to us today. Because the direction that Yahweh gave to Moses was leading by chosen people out of Egypt. Now, when we look at it metaphysically, moving out of Egypt means moving out of bondage. This whole month's about moving out of bondage. And when we look at that, we look at the attention that we're going to give today, the burning bush. We're going to have a burning bowl out there. We can thank Mark across the street. He walked over, and he's going to light that little bunker. We've got water out there, and it'll be a good thing. We're going to try not to burn this place down before we leave it.
Might not be bad. No, whatever.
So, what are we going to do to get ourselves out of bondage? Well, I thought about that quite a bit this week. And one of the things is we need to release and let go of any belief systems we have, any concepts that we are hanging on to that no longer serve our purposes, and particularly some very negative emotions. And as an emotional guy, I know that there's some work I've got to do there as well. The masters of the Far East kind of use the seed, the metaphor of the seed, to kind of show us the importance of letting go, of releasing. And what they said was very simple, it's simplified. that we need to actually have the seed needs to burst its shell in order to grow. And what is the shell that Angela needs to burst in order to grow? Well, when I thought about that, now here's what I need to burst. I can't speak for the rest of you. The shell I need to burst today is this whole consciousness of fretting. I don't know how many of you fret, but I think one of the big things that I need to release today is to release my whole tendency to fret over everything. Anybody know what fret means?
The little thing on a guitar.
Anyway, when we start looking at fretting, we're looking at annoyances, always being annoyed, always being worried about something. I mean, if we don't have something to worry about, we drum it up. We're going to worry about that. It's being discontented on everything, and many of us have friends who are always discontented, no matter what. And feelings of not being enough. I don't know how many of us go there. So fretting causes corrosion, I think, in mind, body, and soul. And so what are we going to do today? I coined this consciousness, bear with me, as this is Angela's monkey consciousness. And the reason I brought in the word monkey is because my favorite metaphor that shows what happens to us, when we don't release and let go. And it's these scientists who had to go, they wanted to go to Africa, and their duty assignment was to collect a certain species of monkeys. And they thought, and the leader said, don't worry, we'll have no problem. One of the people in the group said, how are we going to go to Africa and catch these certain species of monkeys? Easy, my friend, easy. He said, monkeys love seeds, and they love nuts. And what we're going to do is we're going to take these bottles with a long step, narrow neck, and we're going to put the seeds and nuts into the bottle, and we'll see what happens. So they did that, and the monkeys would come up, and they'd smell and scent the seeds. So they'd go in and put the paw into the bottle with the narrow neck, and they couldn't get it out. They couldn't get it out. And they refused to let go. And so all the scientists had to do was go and collect the monkeys, and they were on their way back to the United States. Well, this is kind of like us. We tend to not want to let go with those items and those things that keep us in bondage, that tie us up, that keep us in prison. And so today, we're going to have the opportunity to release some things. I put down a few of them there just to kind of kick things off of it. Angela's going to release anger. If anger happens to be one of the tendencies I have, I'm not talking to you, by the way, Linda, about what happens. Yeah, it happens. But I'm not talking about you, okay?
Okay. I accept myself exactly the way I am.
But, you think about anger, we have a good relationship. When she gets when I do something that, well, she lets me know. But anger, this old adage, he who angers you conquers you. Do you hear that? But I went a step further this morning. I say, he who angers you, Angelo, owns you. He who angers me owns me in consciousness and dominates my life experience. So what am I going to do today? If that's one of the tendencies I have, I'm going to put on my little slip of paper, and I'm going to put, hey, I want to release anger because it's not doing me much good, and put it out there. But when I release it, I've got to do one other thing that's really important. I need to release it with gratitude. Got the idea? So I release you with gratitude. How about the idea of worry? My gosh, worry is the most useless energy we could possibly have. We worry about everything, But it's never solved one problem, so why do we engage in it? Anybody know? Why do I, Angela, engage in worry? Because it doesn't solve any problem. It's very destructive. It wipes me out physically. It drains my energy. It makes me less than I could possibly be. It's not a good thing. And it brings on suffering. So I've got to do that. I'll put worry down on there. And I release, but I'm going to add something here too. I forgot last time. I release, if that's my tendency to worry, I release it and I put it into the fire and let its smoke go out into the cosmos with gratitude. And here's a key here. This is good. This is metaphysical. And I transmute it to a love energy. We can actually take this negative energy and literally change its nature by just focusing on it and saying it. I transmute it to a love energy as it goes out into the cosmos. Get that picture now? Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. It's fear. Yeah, God. You know, our presidents were darn right, Kennedy and Roosevelt, when they said there's nothing to fear but fear itself. We all heard that. Because it's a magnet for destruction. What fear does is puts us under the dynamics of what's happening. It makes us think that the world of effect, the physical stuff out there, is controlling my life. And I've got to be worrying and fearing it. This is what fear does to it. It's very destructive. It's a magnet for the negative stuff in our life. It draws into a like situation and gives us so darn much stuff to worry about. And it's cumulative. And Italians, I always say Italians never go to the crazy house because they express themselves. But the bottom line is, this negative energy is cumulative. It's cumulative, and it bears us down. I don't want to get into that. That's later. Lack. Lack is another one that I talked about this morning. I talked to myself about this morning. And this is lack is it's the consciousness of scarcity. Lack is not only the consciousness of scarcity, it's the consciousness of not having enough. What's kind of interesting when we look at this idea of lack, the reason we have so much of it is because we live it. We all live lack. And how do we live it? Oh, how do we live scarcity? How do we live not being enough? When we get up in the morning, many people, before their feet touches the ground, they say, I haven't had enough sleep. How many of us have ever done it? Raise your hand. Have you ever said, I've done that many times? All of a sudden, what I'm doing, I'm putting in mind my scarcity. That I don't have enough before I even start my day. And then we go to work. What do? I haven't had enough time. Stella hears this all the time. I haven't had enough time to do my job, to do my work. And so we experience lack because we live it. And so today, if lack is my problem, and if scarcity is my problem, if not enough is my problem, I'm going to put it on that slip, and I'm going to put it into the fire, and I'm going to let the smoke go out into the cosmos with gratitude. And then, what am I going to do? I'm going to transmute it. I'm going to change the negative energy to a positive energy and let it express itself in love in my life and not this other way. One of the best metaphors that shows us how so destructive not releasing and letting go, how destructive it is to have these emotions dominate our life. Very destructive, and my favorite metaphor has to do with those folks whose boat took on water off the coast of Brazil. How many people, anybody know the story? Their boat takes on water off the coast of Brazil. So 4 of them get into this rubber raft, and they're floating off the coast. And the first day or two, doubt, fear, some anger entered the picture. Gosh, we're on salt water. How can we survive? The 3rd and 4th day, they started dying of thirst. Sad, isn't it? What's really sad about it is that we're all floating on a sea. But what they didn't know was they weren't floating on sea water. They were in Brazil, one of the largest rivers in the world.